Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good night for everyone. Here we are in our third International Congress of Social Work. Really, we are very happy to have Joachim Mumba as our guest today. He is the IFSW Global President and Chief Executive Officer of the Social Workers Association of Zambia. He has close to 20 years of experience working in diverse fields of social work practice with international nonprofit advocacy and development organizations. His interest over the years has been in children's rights, social accountability through local level advocacy, and HIV and AIDS community-led prevention initiatives. He has also spent part of his professional career in supporting the government of the Republic of Zambia, strengthening the social welfare workforce for improved child protection outcome as social welfare in advisor. We are very happy, and it is an honor to have you, Joaquin, as one of our speakers at our Congress, and you are the first one who inaugurate this event. Thank you so much for your presence here.
All right, thank you so much, Carito, for inviting me and for having me on this platform, just basically to share my thoughts.
Thank you so much. Now we like to see your presentation for this occasion, and everyone could see.
Okay, so just give me a little bit of time. I need to find it. Got to find my presentation. Just hold on. There we go. So are you able to see it from there?
Yes, yes.
Good. So
I will show all.
Just hold. Here we go.
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
All right. So as I've been introduced, I'm the current president of the International Federation of Social Workers. And so I'm sitting here in Zambia, in the capital city of Lusaka. And I'm sitting at the Social Workers Association of Zambia. That's our office. Yeah, and I'm really happy to share with you, and I'll be talking about the International Federation of Social Workers, and then, of course, talk a little bit about the future of social work from my point of view and the way I look at things. So I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity to share my thoughts. So in terms of my presentation, of course, I'll have the introduction, and of course, talking about the International Federation of Social Workers. And then the second will be looking basically more about IFSW. And then I'll talk about the role of IFSW in shaping the future of social work. And of course, then talk about some of the key challenges. Of course, there are many challenges, so I'm just picking up some of what I see as key challenges facing the profession. And then, of course, talk about emerging trends and innovations in social work. Again, I may not be exhaustive, but from my standpoint, I'll speak to some of those I feel emerging trends and innovations. And then I'll also talk about IFSW's vision for the future. And then, of course, I'll end with a call to action in terms of what can we do together. So in terms of the introduction, I just want to say that the International Federation of Social Workers, which I know a number of you are already aware about, is a global organization that represents and unites social workers across different countries. Okay, and the federation is actually made up of national associations. And so in 1928, That basically is a year which gives the historical background of the federation. So from 1928, you would note that when we clock, we'll be clocking 100 years of existence as a federation. But of course, officially, in terms of when the federation was established, was 1956. But it has its roots from 1928, and that's why we'll be celebrating, a centenary in 2028. And just to indicate that the International Federation of Social Workers is divided in 5 regions. So we have the Africa region, of course, where I sit. So we're talking about the whole continent of Africa. That makes the IFSW Africa. And then we have IFSW Asia Pacific. So it's basically Asia and the Pacific region. And then we have IFSW Europe, then IFSW Latin America and the Caribbean. That's where, of course, Peru is part of, and a number of countries in the Latin American region. Then we have IFSW North America, which, of course, we basically talking about 2 countries here, the United States of America and Canada. So those they form IFSW North American region. So I just want to mention also that each region is led by the regional president and regional vice president, and these 2 are elected by regional members. So for instance, in Africa, the members within the Africa region elect their leadership at the general meeting. And so I just want to also highlight that as at April 2024, the number of members to the federation grew from what it was to 152. And of course, we are talking about new members that joined when we met in Panama. So the 2 new members that joined the federation were Taiwan and Cambodia. And then, of course, IFSW members come from different countries, representing hundreds of thousands of social workers worldwide. So, the federation has the global image because of its representation. It represents, currently about 152 countries. In terms of the number of social workers, we are talking about, hundreds of thousands of social workers who belong to these national associations. So each member organization is typically a national association, as I indicated, of social workers in respective countries, making IFSW one of the largest global, networks of social work professionals. Okay, and so the mission for the federation is, of course, to support social workers worldwide, and also to advocate for the rights of social workers, human rights, as well as professional standards, of the profession. And of course, talking about core values, we, as IFSW, are committed to ensuring the dignity, respect of also social justice, as well as the empowerment of the peoples that we serve. So in terms of how the federation is structured, of course, I'm not going in details, but I'm just giving you just an overview. The way the federation is structured is that we have the General Assembly, and the General Assembly is made up of, members in good standing. So all the members that are part of the IFSW, they form the General Assembly. And of course, the General Assembly, I should mention that they meet every other 2 years. And usually this is planned around the global conference. And so below the General Assembly, of course, we have the executive committee, or the board, if you like. And so the executive committee is basically a collection of, regional presidents, the global president, and the global treasurer. who are basically elected, officials. And we also have the Secretary General, who is not a member of the executive, but is an ex-official on the executive. And so the Secretary General, who is an employee of the Federation, runs the Secretariat for IFSW, which is actually the headquarters is in Switzerland, in Ramforden. And so the Secretariat has staff there. And so, of course, not a big establishment, but we have, staff at a Secretariat. And then other than that, we have volunteers that work as commissioners, on IFSW. So we have a couple of commissions. So we have the Education Commission, we have the Ethics Commission, we have what is now the Post Human Rights Commission, we have the Indigenous Commission and the United Nations Commission. So each commission is led by a global commissioner. And the global commissioner oversees the operations of the commission, and they have, they meet with regional representatives on each commission coming from different regions. And so we could, of course, if we had time, talk in detail in terms of the works of the different commissions. And then as part of the global executive, we have a small group which we call a steering group. And so a steering group is led by the president, the global president, and the vice president or the global vice president, who is actually elected amongst members of the executive, as well as the treasurer and the secretary general as an ex-official. So this is a steering group, and the steering group is there for purposes of urgent decisions that have to do with the day-to-day running of the federation to support the secretary general. Sometimes there could be decisions that require to be made urgently. So instead of waiting for the executive to meet or convene, the steering group easily convenes and makes certain decisions, of course, with the blessings of the executive. And so in terms of, more about the Federation, as again, just to add that IFSW provides a global voice for the profession, and also that IFSW has a special consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the UN, as well as the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF. In addition, I should mention that IFSW collaborates with a number of other UN agencies like the World Health Organization, UNHCR, UNRIS, that's the research arm of the UN, and also that we collaborate with our traditional tripartite partners. And these are the International Association of International Association of Schools of Social Work and the International Council on Social Warfare. And you will see that most times when we have global conferences, we are always with, our partners, the two partners. But going beyond this partnership, we're also looking at, creating and setting up different partnerships, with different organizations. And in terms of the role of IFSW in, shaping the future of social work, I think, of course, IFSW traditionally has been, looking at, setting up partnerships, and also been in the business of action, and also in terms doing policies, as well as advocacy. So these have been the core, activities, if you like, of the federation. So in terms of partnerships, you will note, for those of you that attended the People's Summit in 2022, you will note that IFSW brought together, a number of partners that, were part and parcel of the Global People's Summit. And so in terms of partnerships, of course, as a federation, we proactively building internal as well as external partnerships with people who use social work services and their wider communities to ensure that social services recognize people's inherent strengths and build on them to meet individual, family, and community aspirations. So building partnerships to work for global solidarity, also partnerships with other professionals, and of course within the federation. So those that you see down there are some of the partners that we've established over time. And you also note that in our efforts to shape social work, or the future of social work, as a federation, we also involved in setting global standards. So we work in collaboration with the International Association of Schools of Social Work through our Education Commission to establish or set up the global standards for education in social work. And so you would, when you go to our website, you will come across, that page, and also many other pages that speak to the global standards for education in social work. And on top of that, also that as a federation, we are responsible for developing ethical statements and policies that enhance best social work practice. And so, again, this is just an example of the other area that, the federation is engaged in. And of course, in developing ethical statements, we work through our ethics commission. And of course, the ethics commission collaborates with our other, tripartite, partners, and also internally with some of our key volunteers within the federation. And so, again, you will note that during COVID, there were a lot of lessons that we learned in terms of what social workers can do, what social workers did. And of course, we had a number of national associations and social workers across the globe engaging through webinars and sharing their experiences and talking about their experiences with COVID, intervening at that level. And so as a result of that, there was a book that was developed, produced, To the Top of the Cliff. And this is basically, collects all the lessons, all the, the sharings that social workers were able to share, during COVID. And I think this helps also going forward in shaping, the future of social work. We need to invest in, documenting our practice stories, talking about them, telling our stories, and sharing them widely, so that we can do the cross learning across the globe. And you also note that through IFSW, we also do a lot of policy influence as well as advocacy. And so IFSW collaborates with international bodies such as the UN, as I've already alluded to, advocating for policy changes on issues such as child protection, mental health, poverty, and many other issues, as well as advocating for professional social work values, standards, ethics, and the like. And all these we do sometimes riding on World Social Work Day as a platform. And so you would see that these are the examples of the World Social Work Day posters. So depending on the particular theme of World Social Work Day that particular year, different members across the globe, social workers across the globe, they join hands to advocate or to talk about, highlight one of the issues that is key to the profession. And so those are some of the issues that we also do to influence policy as well as to do advocacy. And there is also an aspect of support to social workers by providing resources. As the Federation also provide ethical guidance, also support networks for social workers facing challenges in diverse settings. So as a federation, we do, provide that kind of support. And, one of the key examples, of course, is the Global Social Work Statement on Ethical Principles. That is a form of support that goes to social workers. I've already also highlighted about, the People's Summit, the Global People's Summit, which of course you saw for those of you that participated, a collection of different partners that came on board. And of course, what was realized is something that I always link to one of the African proverbs, which says, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, you walk together. So we came together as a people, we came together as, global organizations under the flagship of the Global People's Summit. And of course, out of that, we came out with the People's Charter, which is basically, providing guidance in terms of the different ways that we should be working. And of course, there are concepts there of co-building, co-creating, working together with local, communities to bring about or to deal with, local problems or to arrive at local solutions which are more sustainable. So all that is, of course, inspired by the Global People's Summit. And so you could check our website, also look up for the People's Charter and get to understand the details that in the global, in the People's Charter. And again, in terms of looking forward, we're looking at how do we, shape, social work going in the future. I think what is also key at a global level, at national level, and even at community level is building partnerships. Building partnerships is very critical, and also partnerships and relationships. And so we need also to bear in mind that relationships are essential to social work. So even as we work at community level or at different levels, we need to understand that as social workers, we need to invest in building relationships and partnerships, as well as sustaining the relationships and partnerships that we build. And in so doing, we become effective as social workers. Again, we are in the business now that we're looking at what can we learn, from different different parts of the world. And so we're talking about harnessing indigenous wisdom in transforming the profession. So you agree with me that sometime in 2021, as a global profession, we learned something from Africa called Ubuntu. I am because we are. And of course, we different philosophical groundings that we're able to learn from this concept. And this, we believe, has enriched our profession. So we want to continue on this trajectory to learn and continuously learn from indigenous wisdom. Again, another example is where we're learning also from colleagues from Latin America. And that's the reason why we came about with the theme for World Social Work Day, Buen Vivir, Shared Future for Transformative Change. Again, this is the learning that we feel that is going to transform our profession going forward. And we want to keep on learning. And actually, the Federation has realized that we can only grow if we are open-minded and if we have we have the hunger of wanting to learn from our practice experience and wanting to learn from other social workers, practicing different practice settings. So this is basically a journey that we've want to invest into in order to shape the future of social work. And of course, all this may sound rosy, but of course, a number of challenges that, of course, we are already experiencing as a profession, and also a number of challenges that are before us as a profession that we already looking at. So one of the challenges that we are faced with as a profession is the global inequality and poverty. And so, of course, there is increasing economic disparities and their impacts on vulnerable communities that we work with as, as social workers. The other one is that of climate change and environmental justice. So addressing the social implications of climate crisis, including displacement, resource scarcity, and community resilience should be the focus of social work and going forward. And all these challenges, of course, will make a huge contribution in shaping the future of social work going forward. And we also talk about digitalization and technology. So the impact of digital tools in service delivery, data management, and how social workers can leverage these for better outcomes while navigating ethical implications are very key. Of course, we look at them as challenges, but of course, for me, I look at them as some of the elements that will be very critical in shaping the future of social work. And of course, we also talk about mental health. So, of course, rising rates of mental health challenges globally, with social workers on the front lines in providing support and advocating for accessible mental health care. So again, this is another, critical challenge that will make a huge contribution, or is making a huge contribution in shaping, the future of social work. And the other issues we talk about high caseloads, burnout, and all these are issues that, of course, are taking a toll on the social workers. And again, we need to start learning on how we manage burnout as social workers. Self-care is key, and we need to continuously talk to our practitioners about self-care. How do we look after ourselves? How do we avoid burnouts? And how do we manage burnout? So although these are challenges that we got to, continuously look at, and of course, will be very critical in shaping the future of social work. And then, of course, ethical dilemmas and policy constraints. This reminds me of the time of, COVID-19, where, of course, in most countries, just when, COVID came or COVID happened, there were a number of restrictions. Social workers were told, together with the general population, to work from home. But we know, you and I know, that social workers, should be found where the rubber hits the road. Social workers should be where the community members are, should be where the families are. But when you are told as a social worker to stay home, how then are you going to work with the community? With your clients. So that, of course, presented ethical dilemmas, especially this side of the world where some of us are found, where we don't. When we talk about technology or digital tools are scarce to find. And so you find that this presented itself with so many, challenges. And so these are some of the things that we should be looking out to, and seeing how then do we navigate, through things like that as social workers. How do we manage ethical dilemmas, and how do we also face, operate in the face of policy constraints? So all these are some of the key critical issues, I bet, that will shape the future of social work. And of course, this presentation, I think, will be shared with everyone. And I'll just run through some of the challenges: workforce diversity and cultural competence, limited funding and resources, especially in the third world. We find this challenge where social workers are not well resourced to effectively meet the needs of the users of social work services. Okay, and also there is this elephant in the house, or elephant in the room, if you like, the stigma and public misunderstanding about the profession. So a lot of misconceptions about social work and what social workers can do, especially in the third world. You find this as a very, very daunting problem, and as a result, you find that the social work sector, or the social service sector, is underfunded because of all these misconceptions about it. So you see that again, continuously we need to be looking at this, and of course this will have a significant effect on the future of social work. Then complex client needs, again, is one other aspects that we need to look at. I would give an example. In my country, it was rare to talk about issues of homelessness because of the concept of Ubuntu. The family or the community will take care of those that are threatened by homelessness. But currently, I think because of economic challenges and stuff like that, even at household level, we are seeing more and more people on the streets. We are seeing more and more people, abusing, drugs. And we're seeing more and more people, suffering from trauma. And so these are issues now that we are, facing with. We are faced with as social workers. And I know that in other places this is not a new problem, but of course in many African countries this is increasingly becoming a new phenomenon, and that social workers should embrace themselves to face these complex client needs. So in terms of emerging trends and innovations in social work, of course, our colleagues, educators. Of course, I'm also I'm also the educator. We now talking about trauma-informed care, and I think there is need to invest, so much in this. There is a growing recognition of trauma and its impact across generations, with a shift towards trauma-informed practices in social work. So I think these are innovations that are coming up and are critical to shaping the profession, the future of the profession. And also we talk about community-led initiatives, and this is actually something that emanates from one of the methods of social and community development, where we're talking about all development initiatives in communities should involve the people that are affected, should involve community members, or should be community led by the people affected. As social workers, we only need to be there as facilitators. So the rise of community-centered solutions, so looking out for community solutions, or local solutions for local problems, is becoming key, and also ensuring that community members are empowered to take active roles in creating sustainable change. The change they need to improve their lives is very critical. And so here we're talking more now about the concept of co-building, co-creating, facilitating development, facilitating, restoration in communities. And this is becoming key. And for me, it's a great innovation going forward. Of course, now we talk about technology again, much as it is coming with its own disadvantages, but it has quite some advantages too. So as social workers, we got to ride on that. And in many places now, when we're talking about digital case management, where we digitalize all the processes in terms of, case identification, assessment, issues of case planning, referrals and all that is digitalized. And this is very critical. And so we got to, rise to the occasion as social workers and, ride on some of, these innovations that are coming forth. And then, of course, social work in non-traditional settings, social workers expanding into corporate settings, environmental advocacy, tech industries to influence policies and support well-being. So we got to strategically place ourselves in, the non-traditional settings so that we can influence policy there. Again, those are some of the areas that we got to be looking at going forward. So in terms of what IFSW's vision for the future, and of course, I speak as the president of the Federation, and also I'm speaking on my own behalf in terms of what I envision for the future, for the profession. So number one is that of the promotion of social justice and equity. So continuing the fight against systemic injustices and promoting inclusivity in all aspects of social work. And of course, that speaks even into some of the advocacy work that we've been doing as a federation, challenging discrimination, challenging social injustice, and of course through public statements that we've been issuing and that will continue to issue on most or a number of issues of concern. Then strengthening international collaborations. Again, we want to ensure that we foster partnerships across borders, partnerships at a global level, partnerships even at local level, and also looking at different issues that are affecting humans, issues like human trafficking, refugee crisis, and all those different things. So we got to find ourselves there working in partnership with other organizations. But again, it's also important for us to invest in fostering partnerships with community, with local people or community members, the people that are affected by the issues that we're trying to highlight. And then, of course, developing leadership in social work. We're looking at continuity, and it's important and imperative for us to invest in leadership programs to empower the next generation of social workers to lead with passion, innovation, and resilience. And one of the examples actually that we are encouraging our member associations is to invest in students association or social work students associations in training institutions. And so because those, effectively become, the leaders of tomorrow for the profession. So we got to invest and we need to mold them to bring them up to speed in terms of how do they take over when we are not there. So this is very important and we need to invest in that. Okay. And so we also are going to continue to look at how do we tap into indigenous knowledge. Remember, we talked about the learning that we've had from Ubuntu. We've learned also from Brain VV. So we want to continuously, tap into indigenous knowledge and ensure that we enrich our profession. And so we believe that learning by doing and telling our practice stories through documentation is critical. And this is really going to be very critical in shaping the future of the profession. And so this looks like my last slide, also talking about, or second last, promoting, of course, I think I'm just repeating myself here. I think it's the same slide. Okay, so the last one now is that I just want to call upon the audience here to ask questions if there are any questions, and also probably to share the ideas that may have on the subject of shaping the future of the profession, and also to engage in discussions or in a discussion how everyone here present envisions contributing to the future of social work. And then also another call I'm making is, a call upon all of us present here on this platform or listening in to get involved with the International Federation of Social Workers, whether through advocacy or joining a local association in your country of origin, or participating in international, dialogues. IFSW normally organizes, regional and global conferences. So we call upon you to participate, in all these international dialogues to enrich the profession. We want to learn from you. We want to learn from social workers on the ground. We want to learn from social workers at the front line. We want to tap into practice experience and practice wisdom so that we enrich and grow our profession. So I just want to thank you for listening, and I hope I was not boring and that you picked one or two things from the issues that I raised. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joaquin. Really was a very rich session that we enrich, with the all the International Federation is doing for social workers and how the dialogue, contributes to empower our career, our profession. And anyone who would like to ask any questions, you could write on chat, maybe, or maybe Habibur, if you like to do a question. Hello, hello.
Hi, Bib.
Hello, Prof. My friend Joachim Mumba, our Honorable President of IFSW Global. It's my immense pleasure today to see you in this screen. He is it himself, my friend Caroline. Actually, Joachim Mumba, Honorable President IFSW Global himself, is a great inspiration for myself and the social worker across the world. So I was just mutely listening to a whole your presentation in the YouTube, and it's a great honor to be here, the next speaker of Honorable President of IFSW. Actually, I have no question to him, but I was mesmerizing to listening to all the talks and the sharing, how he has been planning with Dr. Rory Truell to expand and expedite social work to empower the people of the communities from all walks of life. Actually, that is the social work grounding that social worker wants to do to bring community to a sustainable position. So, Mr. Mumba actually he is leading IFSW and he is giving us hope how to the social worker in the developing country to be empowered themselves personally, I mean, individually and institutionally, than nationally so far, I think. Because social worker works from micro to macro. So definitely IFSW being our lead organization, I mean association global, definitely they are thinking about to empower the social workers across the world, and always I got some hope from him to work in Bangladesh, because in our country social work still not a profession. I have been with my colleagues and volunteers, been fighting a lot to bring social work to the limelight among the people, that social work is not the charity only, social work is not the well-being to the people. Social work is very scientific and it's a process of development, process of change and process of empowerment. So we have been actually planning, thinking a lot, having so many challenges, obstacles, but from our leader and from other leader also, from Dr. Rory and other leader of social work field, that me personally achieve and acquire from them that social workers should be first self-empowered, transforming all the challenges and obstacles to the opportunities. So IFSW is in the right direction, and so far I do believe that actually my friend Joachim Mumba always inspire me, inspire my team that just go slow and having a passionate mind to extend the social work that you have already, but you have to go forward, inviting people not only from the academic field, from the practicing field. So the brace will be automatically actually enhanced to minimize the gap between the academy of social work and the practice. So I'm very happy to see you, my friend, here, and it's a great honor to see you here in person after few more months of writing.
Yeah, great to see you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone,
you.
for your comment. And really, we appreciate a lot, Joaquin, for this opportunity for us, for Peruvians and Latin American. We will pass in social networks and this video. No, well, so many people speak Spanish, and so when finished the transmission, the YouTube automatically put the subtitles and people could read. So, but many thanks again, and have a good time. We really appreciate your work and all this empower to social work, and we congratulate for the International Congress in Panama. We really appreciate a lot all this motivation and all this energy we saw in this Congress. Really was a beautiful experience. I never expect, and I never passed it in other Congress. I thought and I met you there, no? And now we are here and with more time, and we will promote all that you are speaking today through social networks. Thank you so much, Joaquin. Your last word for everyone. Let me say.
No, thank you so much. The pleasure is mine, and I'm humbled for having invited me. I know that I owe Habib. I need to I need to work out how I manage to be part of his congress, and so I know I'll be out in the field, but I'm trying to put in place, some measures to see if I can participate online. So yeah, I'll give you an update. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joaquin. Ahí dice Tamberse, Sir, please, charity and philanthropy and charity discuss in a perspective of social work. Some people say it's same to social work.
Yeah, is that a question? Sounds like one. Yeah, we're faced with such questions where sometimes I've spoken even on national television to say some people confuse social work with doing good. So people think that when you are a do-gooder, now for lack of better term, when you are a do-gooder, then you are a social worker. I want to disagree with that. Of course, yes, social work is about doing good to the community, to the people that we serve. but it's not every act of doing good which is social work. Social work is a profession. It's a science, as Habib has said. And there is, in some places, I've argued that social work is a social science, but social science is not social work. Again, I want you to reflect on that. It sounds philosophical, but you can digest on that and think through. So social work really is a profession, and someone has to be trained, and that particular person needs to graduate as a social worker with necessary skills and knowledge and competencies to be able to practice social work. So it's not about waking up in the morning and feel like I want to be a social worker or I'm a social worker. It's not about that. Yeah.
Right.
Is okay, Tamber, with the answer?
Yeah. Our president perfectly described the issues that philanthropy and actually charity, people mingle these two things with social work, but social work, it's very scientific, it's a process, and it
Sure.
follows some techniques, tools, guidelines, and ethical values actually. But what people do in our country, even when they do some charity and well-being, they make people dependent sometimes, but they think they are doing social work. And actually, definition wise, social work, misdefined sometimes this way that people are doing this sort of philanthropy. But every social worker has philanthropic mind, charity mind. It's true. Every social worker has a good mind, isn't it, my friend, Honorable President? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the answer. And
But I have a question to our president.
oh yeah, you did. You could do.
Actually, my desire, not question, if he really wants me to do social work in my country with collaboration to other countries also, to do good for social work, definitely he should have a commitment for us to visit Bangladesh soon, right? we
Yeah.
want him to be here.
Yeah, we'll look at that. We'll look at how our budget looks like for the next
Peru
year,
too,
and
huh?
we can plan
Don't
around
forget
that.
Peru too.
Yeah.
The social work welfare is being taught in our country more than 7 decades, but still we are not recognized social workers as a profession. So we have been fighting a lot. But if you and our colleague Dr. Rory sit together, sit with the academic professor and other organizations through a platform, we do believe we can be very boast up soon and we can do something better that we have been doing here.
Yeah. Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, now thank you so much again, Joaquim, for being here. Really. Thank you. And now it's time for Happy World. Thank you so much again.